What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, we're bringing you a preview video here. The Arizona Cardinals coming into town to take on the Indianapolis Colts. And of course, I have to bring my friend Michael, the AZ sports fan. He is also part of the Roundtable Sports Network, just like me. If you guys aren't watching the NFC West, guys, and I don't even know what you're doing at this point. But man, thank you so much for coming on here, man.
Of course, man. I'm really excited about this game. I know the season has not turned out the way the Cardinals fans wanted it, but good for you guys for having this surprise season. It's amazing to anytime talk about Cardinals football or just Indianapolis Colts and Cardinals football. I'm ready to go, man. I'm really excited about this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've always said that, like, if I wasn't a Colts fan and I just decided to hitchhike it and leave it at some point, I think Arizona would probably end up being like one of my top 3 teams I would go to. I don't know what it is. I think it's the Larry Fitzgerald fan of me that loves it. So, it is what it is, man. But before we get into it, guys, just want to say this episode is sponsored by FanDuel. The Indianapolis Colts, as it currently sits, are a 6.5 point favorite over the Arizona Cardinals. And honestly, man, you should feel happy about that. Or maybe you won't, because when the Indianapolis Colts played the Raiders last week, we were 7-point favorites coming into this. So we're 7 points and we won by 34. So I don't know if the 6.5 point differential actually makes you feel good about it or not.
A little bit. I mean, I guess I'll take it.
I don't think NFL games, it's so much harder to say that there's a chance that it'll be blown out. Like, honestly, if this was a college football game, honestly, the spread would probably be like 20 something if it were the Colts versus Cardinals right now. But I will say this, the over under is set at 47.5 right now. What do you think for the over-under? Are you going over or under on that?
I would go over. I would go over, and not for our sake, or not because of us scoring. It's probably because you guys scoring. We put up points. I mean, it's just these games that we've seen. I know we're going to preview it a little later on, but the Cardinals cannot score more than 21 points on offensive side of the ball. I don't get it. I don't understand it. There's a big problem with the offensive side of the ball. And I hope we fix it before it's too late. But I would say the over just because of your guys' sake.
I was going to say, we won 40-6 last week. I imagine the Cardinals will probably get a few more points than that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could imagine it probably being very close. That's a very good number. I'd probably go over. Honestly, I think both teams will end up scoring pretty good in this one, but we'll have to go back into that. But hey, man, first things first, we got to talk about the Cardinals here real quick. Obviously, 2-3. Yeah. It started out really well for you guys. You beat the Saints, you beat the Panthers, albeit they were close games, but you did win. You started 2-0, and then obviously you hit a little bit of a gauntlet. You end up facing the 49ers. That was a very close one. Should have probably went your guys' way. And then obviously the Seahawks. That was a back and forth affair there. And Seahawks obviously are one of the better teams in the NFL at the moment. So, and I want to ask, this is a two-parter. So overall, how you're feeling about the Cardinals this year. And secondly, about that Tennessee Titans game, because I know you're probably sick and tired of talking about it. I'm sure you wish to eradicate that from your memory forever, but you got to wait a little bit longer for me here. So explain what was going through your mind as that unfolded.
Yeah, well, let me start off with the Tennessee Titans game, just because it's very fresh. So the Cardinals, unfortunately, this actually happened twice already this year. One with the Panthers and the other one with the Tennessee Titans, where we are blowing them out. They're blowing them out of the water. It doesn't seem like they have a chance to survive. And then something happens where the Arizona Cardinals completely just choke the lead away. Like I said, happened with the Panthers, happened with the Titans. The biggest difference between Panthers and Titans is that the defense for both games, week 1 and week 2, Saints and Panthers, they stood up for us at the end of the game, because if you look at every single score, it's all like one score possessions. It's not like we've blown anybody out or anything like that. And that's exactly what happened with the Tennessee Titans. When you blinked your eye, it was like 21-3, and Cam Ward was doing nothing, like nothing out there. He was missing all wide open wide receivers. The offense looked very like not good. Like it almost kind of felt like the Cardinals had a real prime opportunity here to make the Tennessee Titans doubt themselves in 2025 in general. You just give them a little hope, and it all started with the Amari Demicado fumble where he ended up just dropping the ball, which obviously you guys know about that with the Colts as well.
Yes,
Happened
we
the week
do.
before. And then, we get it on our end. But the weird thing is that, like, that's our third string running back. And I just don't get, like, where the mindset is. It's not like he's a number one guy. He's a guy that's fighting for every single rep it is. Sometimes you have that mentality of, like, bro, what are you doing, man? Like, what is going on? But he ended up doing that. Unfortunately, that turned over. And then we ended up seeing a head doink from Kyler Murray. The snap aborted over his face and caused a fumble. They got the ball back. And then there was an interception from Dadrian Taylor Demerson, which he fumbled, went back into the end zone, and then Tyler Lockett recovered in the end zone. So it was just a unfortunate events that happened with the Tennessee Titans, things that you see in a span of like 7, 8, 9, maybe even 17 games, all happened in one game for the Arizona Cardinals to choke away that lead. Now, we had an opportunity to close the door and shut it, but like, this is what we've been struggling with as Cardinal fans. The Cardinals don't know how to close out games. They do not know how to close out games. And unfortunately, again, it reared its ugly head because now we are losing 3 straight in a row with the 49ers, the Seahawks, and now, the Tennessee Titans, all in the same fashion with field goals to end the game. And it's very disheartening. It's very unfortunate because this is supposed to be year 3, right, of Jonathan Gannon. And you guys have Steichen over there, both came from Philly. So, they know each other well, but like, we're supposed to take that next step this year. And it almost kind of feels like after this Tennessee Titans loss, it almost kind of feels like a lot of Cardinal fans like hopes and dreams going to week 6 is over now. And just talking about the weeks following before, even the wins versus the Saints and the Panthers, there's not really much to be desired. It's not like, obviously we got the win, we'll take it, but like, they're not convincing wins with the Arizona Cardinals. And we got bailed out by our defense in the last drive. And unfortunately, our defense couldn't do it for the next 3 games. And that's what resulted, unfortunately, to the Cardinals now at 2-3 now on the season. So that Titans, man, that game was a dagger to the heart. If I'm going to be real with you, it's not a good feeling. That was supposed to be our get right game, and unfortunately, we got the first win for Cam Ward over there.
Yeah, don't worry. We let Rossi and Michael over there for the Titans guys know that they definitely did not win this game. The Arizona Cardinals gave it to them.
Yeah,
you're right. It feels like Arizona has had a tendency to start really well and then just not be able to hold out throughout the time going forward. And we'll talk about, how the Colts offense kind of compares to that. But first thing I got to ask you about this matchup coming into it, I got to ask about Kyler Murray, man.
Yeah.
Because I'm hearing conflicting reports.
Yep.
Obviously has the foot injury. I'm being told it's day to day. They don't really, it sounds like he'll be good to go, but they're not sure how healthy he'll actually be for that game. And from what I read, maybe I read it wrong, was that the practice they had today, he wasn't accurate at all because he was dealing with issues on his plant foot. What's the story about Kyler Murray heading into this matchup?
He didn't practice today. No, he didn't practice today. He was listed as a did not practice on the injury report. And we did not have I think there was the way that the Cardinals ended up doing it. So Tuesday, there was some sort of day off between Monday and Tuesday, but I know there was meetings that ended up happening. So they weren't on the field. So the actual practice started, I believe, today on Wednesday. And he didn't practice at all. So I don't know either, because here's the weird thing. Like, Kyler Murray ended up leaving this game versus the Tennessee Titans. We ended up seeing him walk away. Like, he was in the blue tent first, and he ended up walking away with the trainer. And there was a moment where the Cardinals were going to get the ball back literally within the next probably play or two, because it seems like it was like a third down. And Kyler Murray noticed that. He actually was going to turn back around and go back to the field. And then the training staff said, no, come with me. So they ended up pulling him back. And then, of course, you saw Jacoby Brissett had a throw that was, people are calling it a hospital ball, because unfortunately it ended up getting our tight end Tip Ryman hurt. So it was a bad injury, which the cart ended up coming out. It gave Kyler Murray enough time to come back, and he finished out the game. So I watched him in that last part. It didn't really seem like he was hurt. Like, if I'm gonna be real now, obviously some people tough it out, and we really don't know the extent of it. He's the one that knows it more than anything. The training staff knows more than fans, of course, but it didn't really seem like he was that bothered. And then on Monday, Jonathan Gannon said he was questionable. Now on Wednesday, he didn't practice with the same foot injury. So I don't know, man. All things are starting to kind of point to it might be the Jacoby Brissett show because of the unknown. Now, Kyler does speak on Wednesdays. Today was when he speaks. The Cardinals purposely move that availability to later on in the week. Now, I don't know if that's because we're trying to play poker with y'all. I don't know. Jonathan Gannon does some silly things sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
They moved it to later on. Now, we're going to find out. Is it Kyler Murray with the availability later on, or is it going to be Jacoby Brissett with the availability? Because it's a quarterback availability that was supposed to be Wednesday that now got pushed back. So tomorrow or Friday, we're most likely going to know more because we have a travel day most likely on Saturday.
Well, that is not very helpful. I don't know which quarterback I'm going to go into with this matchup. Obviously, even if Kyler Murray does play, I mean, I would imagine that foot injury will carry some kind of weight, and he will likely not be running as much as he normally would be able to, which is definitely a weapon he could use against a Colts defense that has struggled with containing quarterbacks. And obviously, Jacoby Brissett, I know a thing or two about Jacoby Brissett. I mean, he was a quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts for a lot of different times throughout his career. So I know what his ceiling and what his floor is. But yeah, it definitely will be interesting to see what they do there. I mean, man, just talk about a massive blow in losing James Conner, too. It was a blow for my fantasy team, and I'm sure it's a blow for you guys, too.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel about being able to run the football against the Indianapolis Colts in this scenario? Because, the Colts, they don't give up 100-yard rushers a lot of times, which is a good thing. But a lot of times I feel like teams don't plan on running the football against us, which is so strange given the fact that when you look at the numbers at the end of the game, they're like, oh, Ashton Genty or Kyron Williams finished with like 70 yards, 80 yards. Oh, okay, those are decent days, but nothing too crazy. But then you look at the rushes, and they had like 13 rushes, 14 rushes. Like, where were these guys during this game when they're averaging 5 yards a carry on this Colts defense? I mean, do you feel that the Cardinals will still try to run the football a lot in this game?
I mean, well, that's the tricky thing about where the Cardinals are. Like, what are they going to do? Like, or what's their identity? Because the moment you lose James Conner, you lose Trey Benson, which is supposed to be the heir of James Conner. Unfortunately, he played one game and he got hurt as well. And now he's landed himself on the IR. Now we're kind of rolling with like a running back by committee with Michael Carter, Amari DeMarcado, the guy who threw the ball, and Bam Knight, which is a undrafted guy that he's actually shown some flashes here and there, but like. I don't know exactly what the plan is because that is supposed to be our bread and butter. The moment that Drew Petzing, which is our offensive coordinator, came in here, that was the establishment of we are a run-heavy offense. That's what we're going to be running on, or that's what we're going to be like leaning on. But believe it or not, if you look at the stats, the Cardinals are one of the worst rushing like offenses in the entire league, and that's supposed to be our bread and butter. So I don't know if the Cardinals are finally going to start pivoting to maybe more of a balanced offense, which I think we're all kind of waiting for, especially when you lose a player like James Conner and then Trey Benson and having more of a running back by committee. Like, I'm hoping that that's what the Cardinals do, but like seeing what they did in this last game versus the Titans, they still kind of held strong to, I guess, the run. Like, they tried it. Like, it was Michael Carter at the end of the day, which is like a 5'8". I think it was like a third round pick from the Jets. So, I mean, he's solid, but he's not James Conner, right? But they were trying to run the ball. Like, so for your question, I would say, yeah, they're probably going to try to do that because that is supposed to be their identity. But if you look at the stats, they're one of the worst when it comes down to the run. And it's a combination of a lot of things. Our offensive line hasn't been very good in opening holes up. It's a lot of the rush is skewed because we got Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray skews a lot of that rushing, and then Trey Benson ended up having some pretty big explosive runs as well. So the numbers might be a little skewed, but if you really look at the game, James Conner, when he was healthy, he never even went over like 40, 50 yards any of the 3-4 games or like 2 or 3 games he played in. Like, it's been that bad.
I was going to say, yeah, Kyler Murray leads your team in rushing yards, which is absolutely insane. Yeah, so I mean, That'll definitely be interesting. We'll have to see how that goes. And, with this Colts defense, it's a lot right now because
Yeah.
this Colts defense, it's under a new regime. It's got Lou Anarumo at the helm of it now. And you have constantly moving pieces
Yeah.
around the secondary because, dude, I'm gonna tell you what, I could have like a laundry list. You ever see the SpongeBob episode where he's like brings out his to-do list and it's just that long freaking piece of
Yeah.
paper? That's the amount of names that the Colts have been going through in their cornerback room the
Yeesh.
entirety of this season. It's been absolutely insane, the injuries we've had to deal with. But I mean, it's still surprisingly holding up. And
Yeah.
you just added Jermaine Pratt to the linebacker room. Don't know what we're going to do at the cornerback room. Odds are Kenny Moore is not going to be playing in this game once again, dealing with the Achilles injury.
Oof. That's your best corner, right?
Yep, he definitely is our best corner. He's mainly just a slot corner guy, though.
Gotcha.
That's outside corner right now is Charvarius Ward, which will definitely be guarding Marvin Harrison Jr. through the majority of this game. I obviously know who Charvarius Ward is. You guys played against him quite a bit. And shout out to the Arizona Cardinals for bringing in all these Ohio State players. I love it. I'm an Ohio State fan. So Marvin, Paris Johnson, Cody Simon, Denzel Burke, all these guys that you guys are bringing in. I love it. So Marvin, obviously, he had his struggles early. I feel like he's starting to finally find himself a little bit. It's unfortunate that a quarterback can't find him as frequently as he can find himself. But you guys also have Trey McBride, who, again, the defense in the middle of the field, very concerning when it comes to stopping tight ends. We have never really been great at that. Trey McBride, probably a top 3 or 4 tight end in the entire NFL right now. So, I mean, how do you feel about being able to establish a pass attack against a team that, is aggressive and it changes a bunch, but struggles against stopping tight ends in the middle?
I mean, that makes me feel good. I mean, to be real, that makes me feel really good. I mean, Trey McBride is one of the best tight ends, or at least maybe top 3, top 4, top 5 in the NFL right now. I mean, I guess obviously depending on who you ask, but he's got the ability to take over games. Why you're not seeing the numbers kind of the same thing. It's the struggle that we've been dealing with as Arizona Cardinal fans. This offense, for some reason, can't figure out what foot is from like left from right. Like they don't know how to figure it out. And that's one of the big question marks that we have here. So like even if Kyler Murray doesn't go, I kid you not, man. There's a portion of Cardinal fans that are excited to see what Jacoby Brissett can do, to see if we can open up his passing game. It's been that bad that it just hasn't been showing up. So it makes me excited that you don't really, do really well with tight ends, but like McBride hasn't really had a big breakout game because of the lack of explosives on this offense. Like it hasn't been good at all. So like I would love to say that, yeah, we're going to go out there and Trey McBride's going to have over 120 yards, 2 touchdowns on you guys. But like until the Arizona Cardinals figure out their own SHIT, like I don't know which way he's going to go. Like, to be honest with you, Kyler Murray, for what he is, he's a really good athletic quarterback that can room out of the pocket, and he's a really good backyard football quarterback. But I don't know if he can see the guys that are open, and there's a lot of guys open in certain plays. So I don't know. Like, I kind of want to see if Jacoby Brissett goes, just to kind of see a different look, because out of these 5 games that we saw, we could have easily been a 4-1 team, easily been a 3-2 team. Maybe not 5-0, but we could have been up there with you guys. It's just the lack of offense can't get going. So I wish I could answer that question for you, but like that's a big concern. And I want you guys to know is that this offense can't figure out a way to be explosive. Like we have one explosive game a game or one explosive play a game, and that's where it kind of caps out. We don't know if it's Kyler. We don't know if it's the OC. We don't know like what's what. It's just there's a lot of problems on this offense right now. So yeah, you kind of got us on the right spot, on the right timing.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. It'll definitely be interesting to see how you guys do things. I mean, the Trey McBride situation will definitely be the one that I'm most looking forward to. I know Marvin will get his, but I don't believe that Marvin will have a ton of game-changing plays because with Ward trailing him, and Ward's been one of the best lockdown corners this year. But it's McBride in the middle that'll definitely be interesting to see how you guys handle that. Real quick with your offensive line, how is it looking right now? The Indianapolis Colts pass rush, it's hit or miss. It does really well against bad teams. It doesn't do good at all against good teams with a decent offensive line. So, I mean, how has your offensive line looked at protecting the quarterback at all?
They're solid. In pass protect, they're solid. Like, I think last time I looked in PFF, they're ranked around like the 15, 16. Like, they're not the best, but they're also not, dog water, right? So, like, it's so weird, but when you break it down to like pass protect and run, like we're not really good at the run when it comes down like run blocking. Believe it or not, like that's supposed to be our identity, and we're like really bad. We're like one of the worst, like 23, 24. But when it comes down to the other one in pass protect, we're probably like 12, 11. Like, so we're pretty solid when it comes down to being able to hold up Kyler. Now, there's been some moments where Kyler Murray has gotten sacked like 5 or 6 times a game. So, like, that doesn't look good for the offensive line. But if you really look at the games, it's a combination of it. It's not always the offensive line. Sometimes Kyler Murray does a little too much because he's so darn athletic. Like, sometimes he kind of runs himself into his own pickle. And sometimes he just like throws himself on the floor. I hope you guys don't see that, but that's a big frustrating thing that we see. And I get it. He's like 5'10". He doesn't want to take those unnecessary hits. But if you see that, it's probably like because Kyler Murray is probably in his head at that point. Like, you just gotta rattle him, unfortunately, and he just kind of plays very happy feet like. So yeah.
All right, let's get to the nitty gritty of this conversation. And it's mainly about the Colts offense versus the Cardinals defense. I'm sure you've seen the stats
Yeah.
from the Colts offense. I mean, this offense right now, led by Daniel Jones, has been probably the most efficient offense in the entire NFL. Honestly, it's wild. I mean, you watched the Raiders game last week. Outside of the first drive where they went 3-and-out, and then the last drive of the game where Anthony Richardson came in and they were just running it to try to run clock out, we scored a touchdown on 6 straight drives after that point. And that's not even been an issue with the Colts all year. I mean, the Colts scored on every offensive possession against Miami, scored on every possession except 2 against Denver, scored on every possession against Tennessee except once. So, I mean, the Colts offense has just found ways to consistently score points. I mean, we're averaging over 30 points a game so far through the first 5 weeks. And it's been a lot of the Daniel Jones factor and just having a quarterback that is the game manager that just knows where to go with the football. It's so underrated, dude. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I have watched the Colts carousel of quarterbacks over the last, I mean, ever since Andrew Luck retired. And to be completely honest with you, I'm not insinuating that Daniel Jones is the same talent level as Andrew Luck was, because clearly he's not. But
Right.
from an efficiency standpoint, he's far more efficient than what Andrew Luck was. I mean,
Yeah.
he's completing 71% of his passes. I mean,
That's
the guy is
crazy.
just making every single throw look effortless right now, and only has 2 interceptions on the year, and is third in the NFL in yards and number 1 in QBR. I mean, what's your thoughts on Daniel Jones through the year, and what do you think the Cardinals have to do to try to stop him?
So what I would say right now is I just actually really it's a cool story, man. Like that Daniel Jones situation, the Indiana Jones, what you guys are calling him now, like it's such a cool story. Like I love seeing guys that kind of got like gave up on and then revives his career somewhere else. It's
Yeah.
such a feel good story, and especially in an organization like you guys, right? Like you probably look at us and you're like, oh, good for you. It's the same thing when I look at the Colts or maybe even the Jaguars. Like I'm like, good for you guys. Like you guys are getting it, right? So honestly, it's a really cool story. What I feel like the Arizona Cardinals defense like is so far this year, they're actually a pretty solid defense. Like they really are. I don't think they have allowed anybody to score more than like 23 points on them. Like this defense can hold teams down below 20 points. Biggest reason why we're losing a lot of games is because we're not able to score more than 20 points. But like
Right.
we got a really good pass rusher with Josh Sweat, as advertised, has already matched our what is it, sack leader since last year. All last year,
I was
I
gonna
think in
say, isn't he
2024.
like top 6 right now? Isn't he have like
Yeah,
4 or 5 sacks so
he's got
far?
5 right now.
Okay,
He's got 5 right now, and last year, I think it was Zaven Collins with 5 sacks. All year, 5
that's
sacks for
wild.
Zaven Collins. Josh Sweat is only getting started, so we love what we have in Josh Sweat. He's as advertised, and of course, you bring in Calais Campbell. Dalvin Thompson's really good to stop the run. And then we got some good pieces just overall, like the one I'm really excited about is Mac Wilson Sr., which is on the middle of the defense, which is basically like your quarterback. We got some young, promising studs in the corners, like Will Johnson's already kind of starting to shine and come into his own. This was our rookie. We had a lot of injuries in the cornerbacks, but Max Melton is coming to his own. And of course, you got your veteran safeties back there with Buddha and then Jalen Thompson. Overall, this defense is pretty darn solid. Like if you're going to ask him to hold a team to 20 points, they probably will do that for you if you can. Now, of course, in the Indianapolis Colts, they're playing with a lot more high power efficiency on the offensive side of the ball. So this is going to be one of the biggest tests that I'm actually excited to see how this defense is going to hold up against a team that can put up some darn points. Because we played the Saints, we played the Panthers, we held the 49ers to 16 points. We held the Seahawks to 23 points, which we just saw Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold have a
Yep,
shootout. So the Cardinals defense is
yep.
holding their own, but the offense isn't pulling their own weight. So one thing I would say is I know your offensive line is pretty darn solid, right? Like it actually ranks pretty
It's
high.
like I think it's number 3 right now.
Oh damn! Damn.
I mean, dude,
That
offensively, everything has worked for Indy this year. I mean, the lowest points we've scored this year is 20, and
that's
we did that
crazy.
against the Rams. And in
That's
all
yeah.
honesty, there were 2 touchdowns that were called back. One
Yep.
because of both because of Adonai Mitchell. So if Adonai
Yeah.
Mitchell doesn't screw us out of that game, we scored 34 against the
That's
Rams. So I
crazy.
mean, you're right. It's the Cardinals defense. I mean, I shouldn't be too surprised. Jonathan Gannon, defensive
Yeah.
coordinator before this, he's obviously going to put a major emphasis on the defense. And, again, if you're a team like Arizona, you got a middle of the pack defense that can keep you in games. It's unfortunate you guys just don't have the offensive firepower to keep you in it a lot of the time. But yeah, I mean, if you guys got offense going, then your defense definitely can hang. But as far and it's funny you brought up the equivalency of Sweat, basically equaling your
Leader.
leading sack total from
Yeah.
last year. I'll throw one kind of the Colts way. It's about Tyler Warren, which we'll talk about here in a second.
Mm.
He already has more receptions, more reception yards, and touchdowns than our leading tight end did last year altogether.
That's
He has way more.
crazy.
He beats them by over 100 yards, by more than 10 catches, and Granson didn't even have a touchdown last year. And he did all that in 5 games. And so, I mean, it shows you just kind of how pivotal he is, which we'll talk about here in a second. But I want to talk about another weapon that the Colts have, Jonathan Taylor, who at
Mm.
this current moment is looking like the best running back in the National Football League at this moment,
Oh yeah.
leads the NFL in every statistical category right now. I mean, I know you guys, you said it, they do a pretty decent job at stopping the run. But when you look at how the Colts run the football, it's so much different than a lot of other
Yeah.
teams do it. How do you feel about going up against Jonathan Taylor in this rushing attack?
Not good. Here's the thing. Like when I'm talking about this game, all you can do is hope to contain him. Like that's the only thing you can do. Like you're not going to stop Jonathan Taylor. That guy is as advertised, and like you said, he's probably the best rusher this year. Like he's doing spectacular things and makes sense. I mean, when you have an offense that's running as efficiently as it is, where you can pass the ball down people's throats or run the ball down people's throats, you're going to be able to get pick your poison, right? So I'm not feeling good about that. That's another test that I'm kind of excited to see how the Arizona Cardinals do against the run there. I'm not expecting to shut down Jonathan Taylor. I'm not that delusional, but like that is going to be something that the Cardinals are going to have to try to do to try to put the ball in the hands of Daniel Jones. But like I said, pick your poison because he's ripping up defenses
Yeah.
left and right. So like if I was the defensive coordinator, right, and if I'm looking at this team, if I'm going to have to pick one, it's going to have to be attempt to stop Jonathan Taylor
Yeah.
and allow the other thing to happen to us.
Mhm.
But that's how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny because it's just like right now, it's like pick your poison of who
Yeah.
you'd say. It's like you don't feel confident in one way or the other. If you try to stop Daniel Jones, then you're going to leave room for Jonathan Taylor, who's been killing people. If you stop Jonathan Taylor, Daniel Jones has showed he's been killing people all year. So it's kind of hard to pick that. But I do agree with you. If you can slow down the rushing attack, then you can put the Colts in more of those third and long situations that every team struggles with. So let's talk about the weapons here for a second for the Colts. So Michael Pittman, obviously, who is your every down guy. I mean, if you ask him to get a catch, he's going to get it for you. Alec Pierce is likely going to return for this game. I thought he was going to make it back last week, had a concussion against the Titans, missed the Rams game. I thought he was going to be back for the Raiders game because he practiced all week, but the independent test said he was not ready yet. But he is practicing again this week, which I likely think he does come back. So Alec Pierce is one of the best deep threats in football.
Of course he does come back.
Josh Downs, who anytime he catches it, feels like he gets a first down every time he touches it. And then Tyler Warren, as we said, who currently leads the NFL in yards by tight end. And he's the only tight end who's in the top 20 in receiving yards altogether. So, I mean, again, pick your poison when you're Daniel Jones, who you're throwing it to. What's your plan for this? Because obviously it's difficult for a defense to be able to stop a team that is so good at just spreading it around to everyone. It's easier to game plan when there's one or two guys that get the majority of the stuff. But for the Colts, there is none of that. What's your guys' plan for that?
I mean, the only thing that I can say, like I said, if I was the defensive coordinator here, is to attempt exotic pressures, right? Stuff like that. Like, we haven't really seen Budda Baker be Budda Baker this year. Like, and that's kind of a thing on the defensive side where the defense is working, but that's without Budda Baker doing all these crazy in the box, blitzing people, right? Doing all these things, stopping the run, flying all around the field. Like, Budda Baker isn't really doing that stuff this year. So, like, if I were to say something, it would have to be like to try to confuse Daniel Jones some way or another. Like, that's the only way I could feel like we have some sort of chance of try to get into the head of Daniel Jones. Because like I said, I mean, like, you're going to pick your poison. Like, it's going to be Jonathan Taylor that I want to focus on, like, try to contain him. So your main asset is to, like, what are you going to do to try to rattle Daniel Jones? So I guess exotic pressures, try to find some way to, like, blitz. I know your offensive line is really good and easier said than done, but that's the way I would attack this team. But, like, if the Cardinals figure it out offensively, this could potentially be a shootout. Like, it really can. But the Cardinals in 5 weeks haven't shown that they can be in a shootout. So it's almost a really, really weird situation. The defense needs to be in the full front of things. Like, they need to help us win this game because we know darn well that this offense has not been able to pull their own weight in 5 weeks. And this is also bleeding into last year as well. Like, after the bye week, we had this epic collapse. We're 2-5. Same thing happened. It just kind of bled into 2025, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it's funny how Daniel Jones has reemerged as this new player. I mean, I'll tell you this. I saw a stat the other week, and it was absolutely bonkers. Daniel Jones's QBR when under pressure or blitz from pressure from the blitz, his QBR was a 19 coming into this year with the Indianapolis Colts. So far this year, it's a 94.
Don't tell me that.
Which is absolutely insane that, like, again, even when teams blitz the hell out of Daniel Jones, he's still hitting the right guy most of the time. So, honestly, the only team this year that has gotten Daniel Jones to be flustered was the Rams. And the reason why they were able to, most of the time they won with pressure with their front four. And they didn't blitz as much as the other teams did. Like the Dolphins, they blitzed him 60% of the time. The Denver Broncos, they blitzed him 72% of his dropbacks. And yet still they couldn't do the thing that the Rams did, which was the Rams, they were actually able to consistently get pressure on Jones with their front four and didn't have to blitz as much. And they keep those guys back, which is exactly what is the recipe to slowing down Daniel Jones. Now, can the Arizona Cardinals front four do that without as many people blitzing? We'll have to see how that goes. Special teams, want to know how you guys are doing from special team stuff. I know that the Colts, you guys are lucky because the Indianapolis Colts, they were without Spencer Schrader now, who was, quite possibly the best kicker in the National Football League
Yeah.
coming into this game, but got hit last week against the Raiders on a stupid PAT. And the guy ended up blowing out his knee and ended up
Oh my
ruining
God.
his season. Should
Oh,
get fined from the NFL for that. But we do bring in Michael Badgley, former Indianapolis Colt there. But as far as your guys' special teams unit goes, I mean, you said it earlier, you guys have had to deal with a lot of special teams situations at the end of games. How do you feel
yeah.
about your unit?
I mean, the special teams, I guess we've been unfortunately on the wrong side of their special teams that has been hitting field goals. But I mean, overall, I mean they're solid. I mean, the main guy you're probably going to be seeing is Greg Dortch, which he's got the ability, he's got the zip. I was like a 5'7", a wide receiver that we mainly now use him as a punt returner and kick returner. He's probably mainly who you're going to be seeing back there. Chad Ryland has been pretty decent. I believe he's the second round pick that the Patriots ended up drafting and letting him go, and the Cardinals ended up getting him. But we had Prater for a very, very long time, and then we kind of transitioned into Ryland. Good. I mean, the only really knock that I've seen was that in the Seahawks game, what also hurt us was the Cardinals decided to do that knuckleball. You know how now people are trying to do that knuckleball and then like try to put it within the landing zone. We tried it the very first time. You want to put it within the 20. We put it right at the 21st and 22, and it didn't work out for us. So then the Seahawks started at the 40 on that last drive, and it was just easy for them to convert like 30 yards, 35 yards with 2 minutes, and they were in field goal range in no time. So like that's really the biggest knock. I think I've seen Ryland maybe miss a kick here or there, but like I think they're pretty solid overall. Yeah, they're pretty decent. They're pretty solid.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it's been up and down for the Indianapolis Colts when it comes to special teams. I mean, it's gotten better recently. We actually just had a blocked punt on the Raiders last week, which was certainly fun. But outside of that, our kickoff coverage is what scares me. The kickoff coverage is what scares me because early in the year, I mean, our opponents were averaging being at like the 36, 37 yard line when it came to us.
Really?
Like, yeah, we were
Damn.
terrible at
Damn.
stopping teams on there. So, a lot of teams were getting very good field position on us. Yet somehow, some way, we were able to stop teams from scoring. It was a miracle in and of itself. But yeah, I'm curious to see how much Michael Badgley comes in and see if he's actually still got the decent leg that he has. Because, I mean, it was funny. We scored that second touchdown against the Raiders, and that's when Spencer Schrader went out. And from that point forward, we didn't kick anymore. Like, we didn't kick any extra points. We went for 2 on every touchdown that we got. So 4 more touchdowns, and we went for 2 on every single one of them. So,
Yeesh.
I mean,
Yikes.
it almost feels disrespectful in a way to the Raiders for that. But yeah, it'll certainly be interesting to see how it goes. Again, everyone has this, PTSD of, every game where the Colts, it feels like the Colts should win that game, feels like a trap game. And, obviously Arizona, like you said, it's going to be interesting with everything that's going on. So obviously I'll bring this back up and then I'll get your score prediction here. So obviously the record isn't going well for you guys, but then when you looked at what happened last week with, the whole situation with him and the running back that dropped at the goal line, feels like everyone's talking about it now. And, everyone's saying, oh, Gannon, should have never done that. It was a disgrace. And, some people are saying that. And then obviously did the NFL fine him or did the Cardinals?
The Cardinals fined him.
Okay,
The Cardinals
fined him.
Mhm.
I thought the Cardinals fined him.
Yeah.
I was just making sure of that. So, like, how do you expect the Arizona Cardinals to come out for this game? Do you expect them to maybe come out firing and, be like all amped up behind their coach? Or do you think that like there's a sour taste right now in the locker room?
That's a great question. That's a great question. I mean, I don't think we were really going to get the answer until maybe what it looks like on the sidelines this coming week. But I mean, everything that JG says, and I guess the reporters out there, it sounds like it's good. Everything seems to have a positive vibe for being 2-3 and losing probably one of the worst teams in the NFL. They're saying good vibe, but like I said, I mean, the good vibe will only last so long if you can't fix what the big issue is, which is the offensive side of the ball. Eventually, culture is going to start deteriorating from what you try to establish and try to build. So I think right now it's still early in the season where you can come out and say, oh, just flush that game. You're going to be fine. I'm talking about for our coaching. Obviously, as a fan, I ain't flushing that. That was a horrible game. But as a coaching side, right, when you try to motivate these grown men, yeah, you're going to say flush it. It's going to be okay, right? Where we have plenty of football to go. So I would say that it's good now, right? The culturally seems good, but you get blown up by the Colts and maybe by the Green Bay Packers, things can change because it's different being 2-3 compared to 2-4, 2-5, right? Like this is going to be a massive game for our offensive coordinator, which is already in the hot seat. We got our Jonathan Gannon, which is everybody's already kind of pointing fingers at him as well. So the Cardinals better come out firing. Like that's what I'm hoping and I'm expecting because this is potentially the season. And I know it's only week 6. But the Cardinals aren't known for that team to come back and make a very, very good push at the end. That's what we do bad at. Like, we don't do good at the end, especially with the Kyler Murray era. We do terrible at the end. So if you want to get some sort of bringing the fan base back or bringing a level of belief back, you got to win this game. And I know, easier said than done. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. But you got to. Like, you got to show a sign of life back because this offense has been horrendous.
Yeah, at least to show fight, I mean, obviously the Indianapolis Colts this year, they're blowing out the teams that they should be blowing out. And it certainly hope that the Arizona Cardinals are feeling that they can prevent that from happening. But go ahead and give us your score prediction for this game.
Okay, so because there's so much unknown, and even if Kyler Murray was playing, I don't think it really would change my prediction because of what I've seen for the first 5 weeks. But I do believe it's probably going to be somewhere on the realm of like 38 to like 21 Colts.
Okay. I love it. I love it. I don't think that I'm going to go as confidently with a 38. I think that the Colts could do that, but I think that your guys' defense is a little better than the Raiders was. And I think that it will probably force us to punt a time or two, which is, you know what, honestly, for what's been going on for the Colts this year, forcing the Colts to punt even a few times is actually a compliment because it's been so far and in between. That's don't think we punted 10 times this year yet.
Wow.
So, I mean, remember, we didn't punt through the first 2 weeks of the season. So I think we punted 4 times against the Rams, if that. And then outside of that, maybe once or twice in the other games. But yeah, getting us to punt a couple times would be actually a good thing for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, you guys sound like a team that we played last year that I remember having kind of a collaboration like this with the opposing team as well. And he told me the exact same thing. You know who that team was? The Commanders. That's the Commanders blew the living bricks off of us. We'll see, man. This defense is better than last year. I will give the Cardinals that. And the reason why, obviously, I'm down is because you just came off of a loss of the worst team in the end. Like, there's not really a lot of hope here. Like, there isn't. If the Cardinals come out here and shock the world, of course we'll be back on the train. But like, it's pretty bad here in AZ, honestly.
Yeah, I'd probably end up going with, I'll probably go with a final score of, say, 28-17, probably be. I think that was my score on the round table.
2017.
Yeah, so I think I'd probably go that. Probably still a double-digit win, but I do think that Arizona can at least, keep it somewhat competitive.
Respectable.
more respectable than what the Raiders did, bro. I mean, they had Pete Carroll questioning benching Geno Smith during that game. So,
that's where the meme came out from Geno Smith with the backwards helmet, right? Isn't that where that meme came from? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Oh my God,
it's
brutal.
So funny. I'm looking forward to it, man. But hey, shout out to you, man. Thank you for being a good sport about all of this, and thank you for a great insight on the Cardinals. And I'm looking forward to this, man.
Me too, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I hope we just come out of this game healthy. We've been dealing with a lot of injuries. I don't want it anymore.
Dude, I'm done. I'm done with the injuries, man. Please, just can God turn off injuries? It's this Madden. Please turn off the injuries. I'm so tired of these, man. It's so hard. I don't even know who's on my roster anymore, bro. Amir Abdullah scored a touchdown for my team on Sunday, and I didn't even know he was on the roster, bro. I saw him run the football, and I'm like, wait a minute, who's 26?
Damn.
I can't keep up with these names anymore, dude.
That's right. You guys had Anthony Richardson actually come in, huh?
That's we had Anthony Richardson played the entire fourth quarter, and he only played 2 drives. So we only got 2 drives in the second quarter where we got a couple first downs, and he caught his own pass. Believe that or not. He threw it. A lineman tipped it at the line of scrimmage. It batted in the air so high that Anthony Richardson was the only person on the field that knew where it was and proceeded to go under it, catch it, and then run for 9 yards forward with it.
So you're not making me feel better about my team there, Derek.
I mean, it's so funny. The Colts are just such a weird team this year. I'm loving it. But man, I couldn't agree more, man. Come out of this healthy for both of these teams. I'm sick and tired of dealing with these injuries. But let my audience know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, anything at the AZ Sports Fan, anywhere. If you're on X or Instagram, I'm kind of on TikTok here and there, but that's the least of where I'm at. But YouTube's where the main following is the AZ Sports Fan. I most likely will have a live play-by-play. So if you want to see some depression, you could probably go on to there. I will have a live what's called a reaction as well, so you can watch a grown man cry. Because honestly, I'm pretty down with the Cardinals right now. If I'm going to be real with you. Hope I'm shocked.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Let us know your thoughts on this matchup. Again, shout out to FanDuel for sponsoring. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And as always, go Colts.